Hi, everybody, and welcome back. We're in the relationship arena. This is the place where we have been exploring all of those relationships because they're everywhere, they're all around us. And I've been specifically looking for people that are living their lives in their own unique and fascinating way, and maybe looking at some of the challenges that people face, but really looking at how we can embrace all these different types of relationships that are going on and what it means to be human in this world of relationships. And I'm very excited. I'm always excited, you know that I say that every time, but I'm always excited when I get a new guest and old guests as well. But I've got a lovely new guest called Maria today. So welcome, Maria.
Thank you so much. Welcome, and thank you for having me here.
Oh, so Maria is going to tell you in a moment a bit about what she does from her perspective. But Maria looks after a wonderful group of people, a community, a specific community that I think really, we're going to find very interesting to explore. It's not a topic that we have talked about in the relationship arena previously, but I think we're going to be talking about this more. So, Maria, tell everyone a bit about who you are and what you do and who you look after.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, well, yes, my name is Maria. I'm based in Spain, and I work as a confidence coach for cross-dressers.
Mm.
Cross-dressers are men who love to wear women's clothes.
Okay.
And most of them, they are not gay. They are very straight men.
Hmm.
And also, most of them, they are not transitioning.
Okay.
They don't want to become women. They want to dress as women as a way
Right.
to, for me, this is a way to connect with their feminine side. And they are amazing.
So you've answered a couple of questions there because I think we live in a world where there's lots of different identities that people can choose,
Mhm.
and there is sometimes confusion about those identities. So these are men who, in the main, are in straight heteronormal relationships,
Yes.
but really enjoy the sense of dressing as a woman. And I have to ask, nowadays, we see people like Harry Styles and even David Beckham, they have been a bit less gender norm, in their dress style. They've been a bit more adventurous. Is it any easier, or is it, what are the challenges that are still faced by cross-dressing in today's age?
What I observe, Ali, is that inside the LGBTQ plus community, they are the most misunderstood
Mm,
because gay people don't understand them, transgender people don't understand them. They feel they are, and I'm generalizing, it's not
yeah, yeah,
everyone,
yeah.
it's general. So some transgender individuals um, think that cross-dressers are not brave enough to transition, and most of them are just not interested on that.
Right. So this
And
dressing identity is not linked to someone's chosen sexuality. Does it
no,
that no? Okay, that's really interesting.
no, that's one thing that I discover because can I share how everything
Yeah,
started with
please.
for me? Because then maybe it will be easier to understand. The first time I encountered a cross-dresser, it was back in 2017. I was in the dating world and I met a man who told me that he loved to wear women's lingerie. And then I remember him looking down, very ashamed,
Mm,
waiting for my rejection. And my answer was, wow, tell me more, because I was curious.
yeah.
And I realized how difficult it was for him to share that with me.
Hmm.
And he was in his late 40s. And this
Okay.
was in Barcelona. I mean, very open-minded city. So And I started asking more questions because I didn't know anything about cross-dressing at that time. And I saw that shame and guilt are very common. They
Mm.
feel guilty for that because it's not something that we see in our daily life. And they live in this secret world. So they don't share that with anyone, most of them, Ali.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they feel they are the only ones.
Mm.
And there is a lot there. Then another thing that happened to me in 2020, one of my kids told me that so she came out to me as a transgender non-binary person.
Okay.
So I said, okay, again, I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
So I love you, no question.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I need more information. Tell me more.
Right.
Because the idea I had about transgender was not my reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then I understood the difference between biological sex, which is the body we
The
have,
body, yeah.
yes, sexual orientation, which is about who are we attracted to,
Mm-hmm.
gender identity, which is how we feel about ourselves or how we are independently of the body we have.
Mm.
And then there is gender expression, which is
Okay.
the way we want to show up to the world, how we
Okay.
dress, how we talk, how to behave. And all these four categories are independent. And
Right.
all possibilities, I mean, all the combinations are possible.
That's really interesting
Yeah.
because I do feel that there's still so much, as I say, confusion and misunderstanding where we talk about being a society that's open and inclusive, and yet we still want to label everybody, you know, you with if because it helps us
Yeah.
understand to a certain
Yeah.
degree. We like to name things and state things, but this is such an interchangeable group that it's
Mhm.
very hard to then define and label somebody, isn't it? You know, because of the different combinations available.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's why, Ali, one of my missions is to educate people around cross-dressing. It's like, okay, let's talk about that because they exist. And the more we talk about them, the more they will feel free to come out to the world.
Yes.
Say, yes, this is me.
Because again, you know, we talk about being inclusive, but I think there is still, for some groups of people, there is a lack of understanding. You know, when we see a celebrity dressing, they might feel that that's quite outrageous, you know, that they've chosen. It always makes headlines, doesn't it? You know, it's meant to be something, and you know, and it's a confusing world because we get a lot as a parent, you know, who's had children born sort of nearly 30 years ago and children born 10 years ago. The difference was, you know, you were just meant to dress them neutrally. You weren't meant to have boys' clothes and girls' clothes, you know, when I had my son. So that means that what they're saying is it's okay to wear whatever you want. You know, we don't need to
Mhm.
label and we don't need to conform. And yet, the fact that we have a community of what is still given a label, cross dressing, I'm crossing into the
Yes.
other gender, I'm crossing into the other group of people, means actually we've not kind of got as neutral as we like, have we? We're not
Yes.
where we think we are.
I totally agree with you.
Okay.
Yes. Even using this name of cross-dressing is limited.
Right.
This is a way to put a different label, but again, and
Yes.
In fact, if we talk about clothes, clothes are genderless.
Right, material, like how it's formed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is something we, as a society, we created
Yes.
years ago. And I mean, now we have pink associated with girls
Yeah.
and blue with boys,
Hmm.
but it was completely the opposite some centuries ago. If we talk about heels, heels were invented for men.
Right.
Long hair.
Yes.
Traditionally, long hair was a symbol of strength, of power, of very masculine men. They had long hair.
Hmm.
So this was
And and then men
heavy.
would wear wigs. We went through,
Yes,
even a couple of 100 years ago, that you would have the long wig to show how important you were, your
exactly.
status. Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? So I've had a
Mm,
look at your website and you offer lots of different ways of supporting. And I
mhm.
noticed as well that you support not only cross-dressing, but you say the women who love them. So you are looking to be inclusive in anyone who is touched by this community. So tell us a
Yes.
little bit about the type of support that you offer and why that's important.
As I said at the beginning, I called myself confidence coach
Yeah.
because I feel that they need this support. They
Hmm.
need to release this shame, guilt, this idea of something's wrong with me. I must be broken. Why I am like this? Because for most of them, it's a question of identity. When I
Right.
ask them, how do you feel when you dress up?
Yeah.
And the answer is, I feel complete. I feel
Mm.
me. And most of them, they don't have a space to talk. So this is why I created my community. I have a community outside social media,
Yeah.
private space, where they can just come and see, this is me. You
And
can imagine, Ali, when I think it was maybe a year ago, one member of my community called Gloria, she was in her 70s. I call them she.
right,
So
yeah.
she told me, Maria, this is the first time I share my secret with a woman. And she was in his 70s. So imagine waiting until that age.
Yes.
And for some of them, just being able to express that, to share that with someone, it means the world. It's like I cannot carry this secret anymore.
So I have a question again, so many questions. So we talk about pronouns and people's
Mhm,
identity.
mhm,
And we've said here that many of your community are heteronormative,
yes.
um, choosing to dress in women's clothing. When they are, do they have different identity then? So when they are dressed in the women's clothing, do they all have a different identity, or just some of them, or how does that work? Explain to us a bit more.
Some of them, usually, um, let's say most of them, they feel really comfortable by having a feminine name while
Okay.
dressed up.
Okay.
And then there is something that also happen is that some they feel that they get to choose between the masculine and the feminine.
Ah,
So this is also another thing that I help them to discover that there is no need to choose. You can be both.
right.
I had a client who told me, Alex, who also went by Ashley,
Mhm.
one day she told me, I discovered that I don't get to choose between Alex and Ashley. In fact, Ashley makes Alex better. So it's like a compliment.
It's like
And
having, it's like making two parts that make a whole, right? You know, they need each other
yes,
and they work well together.
exactly.
Mm.
Having a more spiritual perspective,
Hmm.
we all have this masculine and feminine energy within us.
Yeah.
And if we think about souls, souls are also genderless. So for me, cross dressers are so courageous and so brave that they allow themselves to experience this blending between both energies.
Yes.
It's like, yes, I have my masculine energy, and at the same time, I have the feminine, and I want to express also this part of myself.
I mean, I'm just thinking about relationships as I always am. You know, there's
Mm,
so much going on for these individuals with their self relationship and their identities, but also in terms of their external relationship, in particular, their personal, intimate relationship. And I'm guessing that some of these individuals, they don't even share this with their life partner. You know, this is so secret. But when they do, how do you see this working in a relationship with, again, someone who's heteronormative, you know, has a girlfriend, has a wife? This must be a huge moment,
it
to
is. It is.
disclose and then what that relationship looks like.
Some of them are really terrified to share
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And the ones that share and have a supportive partner, they told me that the relationship now is deeper, is,
Mm.
how can I say, more powerful
Yeah.
because there are no secrets.
Yes.
Um, Always carrying a secret makes you feel also like defensive. Like, what if they discover my secret, anyone?
Yeah.
And thinking about any secret.
Yes. Well, we know
Even
in the
though,
clinic space, we know one of the biggest destroyers of a relationship is where there's any kind of secrecy, because you cannot be your true self because you're constantly living in fear of discovery and of how you're going to be treated and how the other person's going to feel. And it can be such a tiny secret, actually. It doesn't have to be a big crisis or anything, but it becomes huge because of the amount of time you spend what
yes,
ifing, as I call
yes,
it. What if they find out?
exactly.
What if they do this? What if they don't like me? What if?
So imagine, Ali, some of the cross dressers, when the partner found out, imagine that they found a pair of high heel shoes or panties. They prefer to, let's say, they prefer the partner to think that they are cheating
Yeah. Yeah. Huh? I can see that. Yeah.
in before just openly explaining their
Because
preferences. Then
cheating is normal, right? Cheating is something that your wife goes and tells her friend, I found this underwear, he's having an affair. This is something that you're not, it's not that you're not ashamed or guilty, but this is something that we hear a lot. This is something that you
something
don't mind her girlfriends hearing,
exactly
right? Because she's going to tell
something.
people. But imagine if she went and told her girlfriends, I found these, and it turns out that they were his. It's a
Yes,
whole different conversation.
exactly. So again, the importance of talking about that, the importance of normalizing that, yes, they are men who love to wear certain kind of clothes. So what?
Yeah, yeah. And it is so strange when I think about it now that we still have this separate community when we claim to be so diverse. You know, we're all about diversity, we're all about inclusion. As I said, you know, we're all about children having gender neutral clothing and everything is available to everybody. And yet it's not. And it's like, at what point, at what, so how early on, I mean, there's probably, again, we're putting people in a box and it's probably very hard to say, but with your clients, how early on do they realize that this is a part of them that they want to express?
Most of them, they start during their teen ages, some of them when they are kids,
Right.
because they start, most of them again, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
majority.
Yeah.
Most of them, they start just mm, experiencing,
Yeah.
playing, discovering. So they experience, what if I put myself in my mom's clothes or my big sister's clothes?
Yeah.
So it's about trying, exploring, discovering.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And for some of them, this is where shame starts. So
Okay.
imagine mom discovering that.
Mm.
The first thing, maybe not now, but 20, 30, even 60 years ago,
Yeah.
imagine a mom seeing his kid doing this, using her clothes. So he's like, no, don't do that. This is wrong.
Yes.
So then the idea in the mind of these kids is, okay, using some kind of clothes is wrong.
Right. Absolutely. We've attached an embarrassment to it. We've attached a guilt. You've been told off because,
Exactly.
yeah.
Some clients told me I was so ashamed to use that. I felt so guilty, and I I did my best to stop, and I couldn't, because this is a part of me.
Yes. Yes.
So they were trying to suppress a part of their identity, in fact.
Hmm.
And
And
no one that needs to suppress a part of themselves, or someone that feels, how can I say, feels pushed to carry a secret. No one can be fully happy and free.
and we see some really extreme impacts, you know, again in the clinic room when people have had to suppress who they truly are and keep secrets. You know, we see people self-harming, we
Yes.
see people taking extreme measures, we see depression, we see hyper anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, social anxiety, you know, there's a whole list of things that happens because of how you this how we perceive ourselves in our relationship is so vital to our
Mm-hmm.
well-being.
Yes.
It's really sad still in this day and age that, like you say, something as simple as a piece of cloth, as you know, as can cause somebody to feel so guilty and so ashamed and cause them to have to hide this. It's absolute madness when you put the perspective around it.
Exactly. Exactly. And why, for a man using a skirt, let's say in Germany, is a scandal,
Really?
and in Scotland,
Yeah.
I mean, they have it as the traditional
Yeah.
uh, way of dressing. So it's like,
But you have to be very careful because again, lots of them would say, no, it's not a skirt, it's a kilt. We've given it a different label, different
oh,
label. So the label makes it okay. Yeah, the label makes it okay because we've put it
yeah,
in a box that we feel
yeah,
comfortable with.
yeah,
When actually, yeah, it's a skirt. That's what it is.
yeah. But Ali, if there are some people that don't fit in any of the labels we created, is the label who get to change, not the people.
I
We
totally agree.
we created the label, so we can create different ones
Yeah.
and change them and invent new ones. I mean,
As my sort of listeners know, I have very strong views on labels. You know,
yeah.
we feel the need nowadays to label everything, every
Mm,
feeling, every emotion, everything is a disorder. Everyone
yeah.
has everyone has a mental health challenge. We find a label for it. You know, you cannot just be a unique person. We have to label you. We have to tell you what kind of person you are, which community you belong to. And then you have to try and fit in with them. But you're just you. You're just,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But we've done, when we look at even the basic labels like mum, wife, we already start to have a view of what should a mum be like? What should a
Yeah.
wife be like? And then when these people who are just people don't meet that, we get so much disappointment from people. They don't match my expectations. Well, they never said they could. You
Yeah.
you thought they should be like that because of the
Mhm.
label that you gave them,
Yes.
but they're just unique.
And again, labels can help because
Yeah.
our mind needs to classify and understand.
Yes.
But if there are labels that are limiting us,
Yeah.
okay, let's change them. Let's use the ones that make us feel comfortable and
Yes.
discard the others.
Right. I agree. So you run a number of programs to help people, I'm taking it, embrace their
Yes.
true self, which is
Mm-hmm.
fabulous. So
Mm-hmm.
if someone is listening to this, what are kind of a couple of good tips you would give them as they're starting to want to explore this side of themselves?
First, understand that their journey is unique.
Hmm.
So don't try to follow other people's path. If this is an inspiration, okay, but everyone has a different rhythm, a different path. So only do what feels comfortable. And
Yeah.
then find your people, find your community,
Mm-hmm.
because no one of us is meant to do anything by ourselves. We live in a society, and we need this community around us. We
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
belong.
Yeah. I agree.
So if you are alone, if you think that no one around you understands you, find your people. And it can be offline, maybe in the city you live in, there are more cross-dressers. It can be online. I have a free community that you can join, because this is the first step. Feeling that you are not the only one and talking to someone about that is huge. And this is for me, the best way to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
And understand that you are not broken,
Mm-hmm.
nothing is wrong with you, so there's nothing to fix. So the fact that you belong to a minority, it means nothing. In
No.
fact, it means you are special, and every one of us are special. So there's nothing to hide and a lot to understand.
Maria, it has been wonderful to talk to you today about this topic. I think, as we often do, Maria is going to come back and be a regular guest on here because I feel there's a lot we can
Yeah.
unpick. in this. If you are watching this on YouTube, you will see Maria's website beneath, which is beautifully laid out. I must say, so easy to navigate. So you can see all of the support that's offered there. And if you have any questions, please pop them in the appropriate comment sections, because I will be going in and following up with Maria as needed. I bet there's loads of questions out there that people have got. My listeners are quite nosy, which we love. So send your questions in. And just a reminder again to everybody, we love to hear your relationship stories in the arena. So if you have a relationship story, if you are living your relationships in the way that suits you in a unique, beautiful, extraordinary way, you want to share that with us, then please do get in touch, because we'd love to have you as a guest. Or if you work in the relationships field, as I do, I love to talk to fellow counselors, therapists, anybody who's out there connecting with relationships. So, Maria, thank you once again for coming onto the show. It's been fabulous. What a fascinating topic. And
It
we
was a
will
pleasure.
see you all again soon. I'm going to do that thing I say at the end of every show, where I'm hopefully going to stop recording, say goodbye to you, my lovely viewers and listeners, but not cut Maria off in her prime. So take care, everyone. See you soon in the relationship arena.